Well, hello. Welcome to the Pitchy Podcast. We are your hosts, James
and Stephanie.
Here on the Pitchy Podcast, you know that we are always passionate about a great vocal and wonderful performance, and we'll always use the vehicle of NBC's The Voice to give you our take on each contestant. But this episode is a little bit special because The Voice is been over.
Yes.
Been over. I'm using great English today. But really, it's really been over for a little bit of time. But Stephanie and I always love this portion of the podcast because we get to reflect back upon the previous season that just ended, season 23. Then this is like our best of episode. So we are happily but stressfully to the playoff rounds. And we say stressfully because it took Stephanie and I a minute to come up with these lists, and so much so that we had to break it up.
Yes.
But that's a good thing because there were some incredible performances during this round. And it was, Stephanie and I both remarked on how it was lovely to reminisce and go back to what I personally feel was the strongest round of this past season's competition.
Yeah.
So without further ado, Stephanie, I think we need to jump right in. We'll take a little bit of a different format, you all. We're going to give you, on this episode, I'm going to have maybe a couple of honorable mentions. Stephanie, I believe, has one, and then we'll count it down from there, 10 to 6, and then we'll come back with you.
And that's a little bit of what's different about this particular recap episode is that we are not doing our top 5. There were so many incredible performances that we needed to do a top 10. So today's episode will be a couple of our honorable mentions and our 10 through 6. And then our part 2 episode will be our 5 through 1 of the playoffs. So, James, would you like to start by giving us your first honorable mention?
You beat me to it. I was going to say, would you like to start? I sure will. And I actually have 2 honorable mentions that I want to mention on this episode. My first honorable mention is Mary-Kate Connor, If I Die Young, the Van Perry. This is the first time that we had heard, Yes, this is the first time that we had heard Mary-Kate in a minute. Because remember, Mary-Kate was saved and got highwayed or breezewayed or whatever you want to call it to the playoff round. So this is the first time, which we talked in previous episodes that this could have been a disadvantage or an advantage, depending on how you looked at it. Well, I think for Mary-Kate, it was a major advantage because she came swinging, y'all. She came swinging. This was an incredible follow-up because if you remember, the last time we heard Mary-Kate was during the battle rounds with Kylie Dane, and they did the Anti-Hero, which was one of our absolute favorite battle rounds performances. So what I loved about this performance, and I can't believe it's an honorable mention, and that's how stacked my list is for my top 10 playoff rounds, was I felt like it was a continuation of the singing that she did from the previous round.
Absolutely.
And that to me shows incredible artistry because she's very young, probably 17, 18 years old. And she's one of those voices, and you don't find this too often, but she's one of those voices where you immediately know because of the stylings of her voice, stylings of her phrasing, her intonation, all of those things, the rise and fall of her voice. It was undoubtedly Mary-Kate. A signature, I saw a signature, a technique that Mary-Kate uses that is well beyond her years. That I can't believe she's 17, 18 years old. And it was the whole, she knows how to slow her voice down, slow the tempo down to get her phrasing across. Back phrasing that she does, approach to a song, especially the front half of that song. I was like, you're doing masterful, artistful, if that's a word, artistry things to be so young. And I loved it. It was so good. It was so pure. It was a pure vocal, but it was also, she was doing masterful things well beyond her years. Stephanie.
I love that.
Honorable mention.
I love that pick. I love that song.
Yeah.
We will link it in the show notes. If you don't know that song, When I Die Young, it's a beautiful song. And the thing that impacted me most about that for Mary Kate is that she delivered that song, because that is a song that you need to communicate to really get to the heart of the lyrics of that song. And she delivered it so well. Love that pick.
What stinks is that because this was the biggest cutthroat round, Mary Kate got sent home after that. It just...
If you're listening to the audio, my face is like the side eye face where it's just like, because we're going to be saying that a lot.
A lot.
We're going to be saying that a lot.
Oh, okay. All right. So what you got for me, Stephanie?
So I'll give my first one. And again, I only have one for this episode. I'll have another for the next. Neil Salsich. I loved his Have a Little Faith in Me. Oh my goodness. It was just so...
Can I get an amen?
Can I get an amen? Like, he was preaching, he was singing, he was performing. It was quintessential Neil. Like, this is what you're going to get from Neil, performance in, performance out. No matter what genre he's singing, he commanded the stage. He made you feel joy. His vocal was impeccable. There's not too much else to say other than that. Like, he is just our quintessential pro of this season. He delivers every time he's on that stage, and it was an awesome performance.
I believe Neil was also the oldest of who was left of the season.
He might have been, yeah. Between him and Ross, I'm not sure, but yeah.
There is just an ease to that familiarity of being so familiar with your craft and
absolutely
being in that craft for so long that made it another awesome performance.
Remember, absolutely.
He just came off of killing the Doobie Brothers.
Killing
it.
Yes.
And he had a kind of an interesting, because his person couldn't make it past. So, I mean, but again, that's that. He was also our resident chameleon.
Yes.
This man could sing any genre. Like,
absolutely.
Really,
absolutely.
Anything else you want to say about Neil?
No. You got one more for us?
I got one more. Oh, and you're going to be shocked with this one, because of this one not making my top 10. But here it goes. Miss Holly Brand, Bring on the Rain, Divina. And the only reason why it didn't make my top 10 is because, and I don't even know how to say this, like, the song didn't necessarily excite me. Holly's vocal always excites me.
Yeah.
And, further upstream and downstream, Holly, if you look at Holly's body of work, this was not that it was a bad performance. It was a performance that wasn't necessarily memorable, but Holly's so good.
Right.
My honorable mention, because listening back to it, I said, she's still killing it vocally. Do I necessarily like the song? Not too much, but it's Holly Brand.
That's right.
I thought Holly was going to win this entire competition. So the fact that she had a ho-hum song and upstream and downstream, Holly was giving us crazy vocal, and she's still in the honorable mention, speaks to just the magnitude of this woman's talent for me. And that's why I had to put Holly on my honorable mention list.
I get it.
All right. So here we go. We're not messing around. We're all about business today, but Stephanie and I remarked off the podcast how excited we are to hear each other's lists, because we have a feeling that we'll have a lot of the same people on the list, but we know our orders are going to be totally flip-flopped.
Yes.
Or in different orders.
Yeah.
And this, again, I know I sound like a broken record, but this, again, speaks to how incredible this round was. I can say that probably my top 4 through 10 can interchangeably go anywhere. Like my top 3 is my top 3. Like,
okay,
not over doubt. But my top 4 through 10,
given the day, right?
Throw it up in the air and see where it landed, because they were all that in their own unique way. They were all that incredible. So, do I have to start, or no? You have to start because I did the last honorable mention. So, what's your number 10, Stephanie?
Oh, guys, I have so much anxiety over this list because just as James said, I could probably take my entire list and justify any play, most of it, just depending on the day. And that is because the vocals were so incredible,
Yeah,
or the performance as a whole was so incredible. So I could justify this whole list. But my list is my list, and I'm going to stand by it.
okay.
My number 10 pick is Riley Tate Wilson, When the Party's Over.
That song. I get chills just thinking about that song. Daggone Billie Eilish, you are too much.
It makes me very emotional. And
Yeah,
when I saw that he was doing this when it originally aired, it was just like, oh my goodness, Riley is going to slay this song. And he did. It was the most beautiful rendition. And we've heard many renditions of the song on this show,
yeah.
period. And it was one of the most lovely iterations of the song that I have heard.
Was this the first male rendition we heard of this?
I want to say maybe.
Yeah,
I want to say maybe. I can't think of another offhand.
yeah, I can't.
His head voice. I'm touching my chest, Lord. His head voice and his chest voice were both so equally lovely. His lows and his highs were so beautiful. The melodic changes that he did throughout the song were tasteful and so brilliant. The instrumentation of this performance was really cool as well because it was really only piano for the
That,
most part. That was the most present, and
note.
that drone. So it was very vocally exposing, which I feel is so brave for a 15, 16-year-old male vocalist who is going through that vocal change. And we even heard the break in his voice at one part during this performance, but it was actually really lovely and really authentic.
Let's call it the pubescent journey.
Yeah, it was really beautiful. It weirdly fit the song really well. It weirdly fit. So for those reasons and probably 10 more things that I could list, Riley Tate is my number 10 when the party's over.
I love it. Love. That's a strong number 10. If Riley's number 10, I don't even know where you're going to go with this. I'm like, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
For my number 10, this is actually probably one of Stephanie's favorites of the round. So here we go.
My number
10 is Mr. Ray with Essence, Wasted, featuring Tim's. This was, I wanted to have a strong number 10 because it's my first out the gate. But if you all remember, this was the first time I really took notice. I wasn't necessarily sold on Ray.
Yeah.
And Stephanie was the person that said, Jane, put your good ears in. You need to go back and listen to this young man sing. And this was when I was like, okay. All right, Ray is a formidable contestant.
Yes.
And he is holding it down. First of all, I love this song. This was, I believe, the summer song of 2022. It was, Bieber's done a verse on this song. Yes. It's like it put Nigerian hip hop, really, it brought it to the masses because it broke through the pop world too.
Yeah.
With Bieber's track or verse. And I love the original so much, but this version, the stripped down version of it, was fire. And I'm not going to go too much because we talked a long time, I know, during the podcast about this particular performance because this is my awakening to because I just was like, oh snap, okay, because we know not too many R&B people get through,
right.
And Ray had that really laid back, smooth R&B approach to his singing. And he is my number 10. I had to come strong out the gate because I know this person's on Stephanie's list because this is one of her favorite performances, but I'm interested to see where she puts it. But yeah, Ray. Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Other body.
Eh,
Come on.
I,
That
I
song.
got ooh.
That's,
All right, I gotta move on.
hey, come on.
I gotta move on. I gotta move on because you know I could stay there. I could stay
Oh,
there for the next.
I know you like that record too, Steph. I
Woo,
know you like that record.
woo, woo. All right. So my number nine. My number nine is Jamar Langley.
Oh,
Thrill is Gone by
hey,
BB
come
King.
on.
Ooh. Here comes Jamar again. Second week in a row. He was on that stage like he was the guest performer in the middle of this show. The command of the band that he had, and I believe that was a note that Chance gave him, like, lead the band. Like, you are not only a vocalist, you are a musician.
Yes.
Lead the band. And he did that.
Instrumentalist extraordinaire.
Yeah. And I love that he not only did that with his guitar, but he did it vocally. You know, he would say stuff like, you know, come on, band, let's come into the second bar, or come on in, or something like that. I love that.
Little shades of worship leading.
Like, little shades of worship leading. Like, absolutely.
Like, let's take it to the bridge. Okay.
Yes.
Let's sing verse 1 again. Come on, y'all.
Yes.
It was so natural.
It was so natural. Yeah. I love the beginning of it where it was just him and the guitar, him playing his electric guitar, and that really highlighted his vocal ability and his ability to rock on that electric guitar.
Jamar is such a good guitarist that he could have taken lead guitar through the entire song.
Right. He absolutely could have.
Good, y'all.
Yes.
He could sit in with that band. And
yes.
Y'all know how you feel about that band.
Absolutely. Best band in the land. The vocal on its face was incredible. Like, the things he was doing vocally and just the styling choices that he makes, I love, because the style of his voice really lends really well to the timbre of his voice. Like, he knows what he's doing vocally. I loved all the ad libs that he would do, like, come on, and yes, it is. And, you know, just different stuff like that makes it feel so authentic and makes it feel like I love when a performer shows that they are comfortable on stage, because that means that we are going to most likely get the best out of them, out of their vocal, out of their performance. If they're comfortable, then we're going to get the best out of them. Yes. And I love that, just the personalization of the different things that he was saying, and the melodic choices that he was making. He really made this song current, like sound fresh, sound cool, and he made it his own. For being such a very, very well-known song, he made the song his own. So that is why Jamar is my number 9.
Oh my goodness. All right. Wow. Great choice. Great choice. I'm so excited about this list because all of them are going to be good. All of them are going to be good. My number 9 was your honorable mention. It was Neil Salsich. With Have a Little Faith in Me. And
nice.
I was like, preach. Let me tell you, I was like, especially for the song, he was hollering. Neil was preaching.
Yes, he was.
Like, I mean, but again, what's crazy about Neil is, like, I hear different genres in his vocal lines.
Yes.
Like, he got straight AME Baptist.
Thank you.
Preacher, like the back half of the song, but the first half of the song was very not folksy, but more just easy listening. Soul.
Yes.
And then you hear the soul, and like he'll throw a run in every year. Like he'll do like the Chris Stapleton thing, remind people that he can run and run really well. Like run in, like he was the pro. He was a consummate pro. Like seriously, we could go on and on, but Neil. This just spoke to Neil, and I really wish Neil went further in the competition because
me too.
I think he would have. I think it would have just gotten better and better and better. And
Neil performing live, come on! Like, if he wasn't already turned up in these knockouts and playoffs, imagine how turned up he would have been in the live shows.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right. So, who is your number 8?
My number 8 is Michael B. The Joke by Brandi Carlile.
Wow.
And this was an interesting one for me
Yeah, it
because
was.
this was not my favorite song choice
No.
from him. I did not like this song choice. And
I think I think I think we were a little biased. Like we wanted more. We wanted like
I wanted to hear some R&B.
R.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I wanted to hear some Usher.
Yeah,
I wanted to hear some R&B.
yeah.
But when I was, listening through everything in preparation for this episode and the next, I was like, let me just give this a real good listen, just taking the song choice element out of it and just listening to this man's vocals. Well, doggone it, if he did not sing the heck out of this song, if he did not sing, he gave us everything he could give us in this song. And I love that he was able to, I don't even want to say sneak in. He put those Michael B runs that we love so much from him. He put that in this song in a couple of spaces, which was really smart and really tasteful.
Mhm.
He gave us story with his vocal and with his performance. He took us on a whole journey with this song. I really feel like his theater background went really well to
Yes,
this song
good.
as well, because he was able to use that performance element with his voice and with his body. He literally did everything that he could do to showcase himself and his voice in the best way possible, to give himself the best chance to go through. Like I can remember the back end of the song where he was doing that last chorus and he was saying the joke and he was just like, oh, 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 like he was just
Yeah.
going for it. Like he was just throwing everything he could vocally at it. He ended with like a falsetto, and like he just did everything he could do to highlight the best of what he could do, and it worked. It worked for
He
me.
did.
I
He
had
did.
to add him.
It was
Yeah, it was impressive.
it was an incredible thespian performance.
Yes,
Um,
absolutely.
so yeah. All right. So my number 8 is Sister Sorella.
Oh wow.
This got a hold on me.
Oh
Um,
wow.
this was,
Oh
I don't necessarily think it was the first time, but it was the first time I personally heard all of the sisters as soloists. Like, I was like, every last one of them can cut an album. Like,
this was the one, James.
y'all were
This
giving
was
me like En Vogue vibes where like everyone from En Vogue could be a solo artist, right? Y'all were
yes.
giving me just, there was no stronger, like baby sis was giving it to me, middle sis, older sis, and they all stylistically, I loved it because when they all sang solo, they all have different style voices, but when it comes together, it's just magical.
Yeah.
And this was just such a huge, like, they're I put them in like the neo category. These sisters could sing any genre of music, and number one, make it their own, and number two, be believable.
Absolutely.
And it was a believable, and those harmonies, those lush harmonies. But to me, what made this performance so special is I felt like during each person's spotlight, I felt like they were feeding off of each other. Each
Absolutely.
sister individually gave such strong vocals as individuals that when the next sister came in with her vocal line, it was like, not I'm going to top you, but oh, my sister just gave it. I'm going to have to give it just like my sister. Oh no, my two sisters just gave it. I'm going to have to give it just like them. And
It felt like passing a baton. Like, okay.
Relay race.
Yes.
It was a perfect relay race.
Yes.
But y'all don't sleep on that. Oh, and I only keep going back to Bella because she was, I don't think we knew at this point how young Bella was. And she's 15 years, like she and Riley Tate were the same age. And,
yeah.
And they were two of the strongest vocalists on the show.
Right.
I gotta, like, I'm still in disbelief over Bella.
Yeah.
I really, really am. So yeah, Sister Sorella, something's got a hold on me. A little doo-wop throwback piece.
So good. So good. All right. Number 7. My number 7 pick. And I can't believe she is my number 7 pick.
Uh-oh.
is Allie Never Alone by Tori Kelly.
Oh
Yeah,
my gosh. If Allie is number 7,
I know, James. I know, I know, I know, I know. Um, this is why I'm saying I could throw at least like you're saying from 4 to 10, I could like literally throw it up in the air and be
right,
able to justify it, right?
right.
So this is what I when I was creating it, this is how it shook out,
Yeah.
and this is it.
Listen, I ain't gonna question anything, Steph.
No. So I love the beginning with just her and the guitar.
So
Absolutely
intimate.
gorgeous. Um, I believe that Allie said that she contemplated herself playing the guitar at the beginning of
What she
this.
told us.
Yes, let's check out that interview. Yeah, check out that conversation and to hear more about this song and others. But I was really glad that she didn't, honestly. I loved because it would have been interesting because she also started at the bottom of the stage sitting on the steps, and it would have been interesting to see her trying to put down the guitar, and because she moved up to the center of the stage where the rest of the BGVs were. So I'm kind of glad that she made that choice, although I would have loved to have seen her play
Yeah.
during the show.
I mean,
But
she could have done the Prince thing and just thrown it up in the air.
she could have. But her vocal with the guitar at the beginning was really, really beautiful. I love Allie's lows. Nobody can do lows like Allie because of how she finishes her lines as well. So it's just that incredible blend of like that is just so delicious. Yes.
Yeah.
I love the melodic choices that she made to differentiate it from the original, and it lent really well to her signature sounds. I love that she did that. It was the faith song, I put in quotes, of the season that really connected with me.
Yeah.
There were only a couple songs this season that were like very faith based.
Right.
And I think that this was the one that made the most impact for me. And I loved that she was able to do this song because this is a song that Allie mentioned to us that she really, really was glad that she was able to do because this song meant a lot to her as well. The vocal runs that she was doing was ridiculous. Like by the back end of the song, Chance was literally in his chair running with her, like, oh, where's she gonna go? What's she gonna do? And lastly, I love that not only were the BGVs on the stage with her, bopping with her, moving with her, but also that she still was in command of the stage. It was still all about Allie in that moment, even while the BGVs were hollering to the heavens. She was still doing things vocally that was so interesting that they did not distract me from what she was doing. So it was an incredible performance. She is my number 7. Allie Never Alone.
That's crazy. So my number 7 is one you previously mentioned. It's Jamar Langley.
All right.
We talked so much about Jamar. I don't even know what else to say other than the fact that Stephanie, you kind of alluded to this earlier. It takes a special type of vocalist to sing blues. It is a throwback genre.
Mm-hmm.
Barely anybody that's coming out these days that are as young as Jamar, a lot of us weren't even alive when the blues were at its height.
Yeah.
In Americana or American popularity when it comes to music.
Right.
So all we have are, national treasures like B.B. King, who lived a very long life, and I love that Jamar stayed true to the genre.
Yes.
He didn't try to 2023 it. He really stayed true to the genre, and you can tell he is a studier of the history of music.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of younger singers, you need to study your music history. Mm-hmm. You need to familiarize yourself, and I'm sorry I'm on my soapbox, but you really do. You need to familiarize yourself with genres of music. Mm-hmm. And if you want to come up with your own style, your own sound, listen to these genres, take what you like out of these genres, and then you create your own style that way. Don't necessarily copycat, but take the best of a certain genre. And I love that he chose a blues song.
Yeah.
And because let me tell you, it showed the smoothness of Jamar's voice.
Come on.
Jamar's voice was so smooth.
Yes. Yes.
And Jamar's is one of those singers, like, he just has his guitar, throws his head back. The thrill, oh, the thrill is gone. Like, it's just butter. It's just butter, baby.
Absolutely.
And it was just so wonderful. I would be crazy if Jamar was not in my top 10. So, Jamar is my number 7.
Yes.
I don't think we see Jamar past this round, which hurt my heart.
Oh.
Hurt my heart.
Absolutely did.
Who's your last for this episode, Stephanie?
Oh, James. Oh, James. I'm just going to say it. Oh, James. My number 6 pick is Kate Martin, Alone, by Heart. Yeah.
She's 6?
She's 6. Wow. Dang it. Dang it. Dang it. Right. I know. Like I told you. Toss up. So this song by itself, level 12 difficulty.
Oh my Lord.
Level 12 difficulty.
Level 15 for BGVs, right?
Yes. Oh, yes. Absolutely.
Higher harmony, right?
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
If I remember correctly, if I listened to this correctly, I'm sorry to digress for a second, but if I listened to this correctly, wasn't the guy doing the BGV at first? Yeah. Like, I was like, is that the dude background singer singing this with her? And then for the really high part, one of the ladies came in.
Yeah.
But, like,
no, you're absolutely right. That's how ridiculous those BGVs are. Absolutely. Yes. So saying all that to say, this is a song you should not attempt on these competition shows unless you know you can sing. And we know, of course, that Kate Martin can sing. It was really interesting, James, because this was the second week in a row where there was this pitchy controversy about Miss Kate Martin and whether she was pitchy.
Those of you listening cannot see the side eye that I'm now, but my eyes are squinting hard.
And my mouth is pursed. So it was interesting because I was like, you know what? Here's what I'm gonna do. And I did this prior when this performance was first aired in this playoffs show. I was like, I'm going to give this a fresh listen, and I'm going to close my eyes.
You have to.
I'm going to close my eyes.
Same thing, Stephanie. I did the same thing because I was like, I got to really, really hear what they're talking about.
When I closed my eyes, I was like, this woman is freaking brilliant. That's where I landed, because there were things that she did to the melody of this song that were different. And that
could have been what they were hearing.
And that's what they were hearing, James. And it was so, in my opinion, tastefully done, but different. And you have to do this to a certain extent with a song like Alone, because if you don't, it's going to be karaoke. So I think that the things that she did in some spots were so nuanced, which is our key word for Kate always, were so nuanced that if you did not have good ears in, or if the sound in the building was not quite correct, your ear could say, because it's different than what you're used to hearing. But when you put your good ears in and listen to what she was actually doing, it was so brilliant what she did. Especially in that second verse. I forget the words offhand, but I could hear what she did, which was so cool. And again, we will link all these in the show notes so you can hear exactly what we're talking about.
I only got by on my own.
Well, I'm thinking about the beginning of the second verse where she says,
Da-da-da-da-da-da.
Yeah, but she did something different.
She did.
And it was really, really, really cool. I will end by saying she gave us everything in this song. She gave us power. She gave us intimacy. She gave us storytelling. She gave us stage presence. Kate, don't miss. And I'm saying that with emphasis in the way that I'm saying it, because Kate Martin don't miss.
Ever.
Okay?
Ever.
Ever.
And
Ever,
we often talk about Holly Brand having mastery of her own voice. I'd be crazy if I didn't say Kate Martin didn't have a mastery of her own voice, because
Absolutely.
she does, and she
Absolutely.
did. And because Kate, because when Stephanie and I say mastery of their own voice, we're talking about people who just deliver at the highest level of difficulty, and you're just like, did they just sing a perfect vocal? And they sang something really difficult,
right?
Because there's one thing,
right?
Give me a perfect vocal, and the song is not vocally that hard,
right?
Or rangy or whatever. But they both, that Kate Martin, like
yeah,
she don't miss, y'all. She don't
miss. Yeah.
Miss. All right, so let's bring it on home with my number 6 was a previous mention of yours, Michael B. Carlisle was my number 6 for all the same reasons as Stephanie said. I wasn't big fan of the song, but what Michael B. did with that song, especially the second half of that song, what that young man did, I tell you, I said, Michael B., and the reason why I said that thespian performance is because Michael B. told the entire story. I was transfixed with this performance because I was following what he was singing about. I was listening to the whole story. I was like, oh my gosh. Like he's really drawing me in, and that's that theater background that Stephanie and I talked about. But Michael B., I know why strategically I can probably guess why he chose this song, because he didn't want to be known as the blue-eyed soul guy, right?
I don't know. You actually think he chose it?
Oh, who knows? No, I agree, because we don't know. But whatever it was, he did the best he could out of it. He's my number 6.
Yes.
This was one of, I think, my and Stephanie's biggest disappointments of Michael B. going home this round, because we desperately wanted to hear more Michael B.
Oh,
like after what he and Riley Tate did back in that battle round, it was just crazy. So Michael B., we've already talked about it, but he is my number 6, The Joke. All right.
Yeah.
So Stephanie, that wraps up our first honorable mentions and 10 through 6. What a list we have!
What a list!
Just like I suspected, so many of our lists are the same. But when we come back to you all on the next episode, I will give you one more honorable mention each, and then we'll take it on home with 5 through 1.
Yes.
And the coveted number 1 spot's going to be insane, because this is, like Stephanie and I said in the top of the episode, this is probably the strongest round, pound for pound, of this season.
Absolutely.
So, Stephanie, tell everybody what they need to hear.
So don't forget to follow and subscribe to the Pitchy Podcast on your favorite podcast platform, so you can be the first to know when we drop a new episode. And also check us out on YouTube. Please search for the Pitchy Podcast and hit that subscribe button so you know when we drop a new video. And last, please don't forget to follow us on Instagram at the Pitchy Podcast for new episode alerts, episode clips, and so much more.
That's right. All right, everyone. So we'll be back with you next week with round 2 of the best of the playoffs. See everyone soon.
Bye-bye.